And welcome everybody to the Daily Space Weather. I'm your host Dan, aka smAsho, and today we're talking about the sun, Satanic merch, Google search. Are you able to find our videos using Google search? Leave us a comment and let us know. And also an impending solar blast. We'll tell you all about it and more on today's Daily Space Weather video. Enjoy it. It could be the last one you see in a timely fashion. Here's the sun in 193 angstroms. Coronal holes rotating just past the Earth-facing zone here are the latest features, 0 sunspots, and a weak radio flux. Here's a diagram of the solar system. Here's where things will be in a week, about a day away from the next new moon. And here's a star chart. If you're up before dawn and you have clear skies, you may see Saturn and Jupiter rising ahead of the sun. I like to use in-the-sky.org and face my star chart to the south. Radio flux down to 72 solar flux units as we see weak solar activity and again an impending solar blast. Here is the radio flux in context. It's a 1-year chart. Solon.info needs to update it, as the last date we see listed here is the 29th of March, and we're into April now. But in any case, this black line gives you the 1-year context of the radio flux. The red line is the sunspot number, the most important feature in solar activity, solar polar field reversal cycles, the solar sunspot cycles, whatever you want to call them. No forecasts by NOAA for any upticks here. You can see expecting no more than a KP of 3 over the next couple of days. Let's do volcanoes. There's one erupting. It's Fagradalsfjall, and it's apparently too stormy, or there's too much ash hitting the camera. Let's see if the other camera is functioning. How about camera 2? And camera 2 has a better view, not encased in fog right now. Out there in Iceland. And we've been showing this daily to show the crater valley slowly filling with lava here as a cinder cone becomes a shield volcano. Spectacular views here from 2 different cameras of the Icelandic volcano, Fagradalsfjall. Let's see what else is erupting. It's a downtick in volcanoes and earthquakes, although Mount Abiko is still producing a 10,000-foot plume of ash. Suwanosejima, unknown volcanic ash plume there. Please don't attempt to pole vault the caldera. Dacono exploding, flight level 080. It's an 8,000-foot ash plume. Pacaya, the Guatemalan volcano, exploding, 12,000-foot ash plume there. And Sabancaya, continuous emissions are a reminder to not square dance around the caldera. Oh, way down south in the land of cotton, my feet stink, but yours smell rotten. Look away! It's a 6.6 magnitude quake, the largest of the past 24 here, located near the plate boundary between the South Atlantic plate and the Antarctican plate. There's the location of that, listed near the Sandwich Islands. And it looks like a major downtick in seismicity here over the past 24 hours, folks. Very low levels of earthquake activity, some of the lowest we've ever reported on the Daily Space Weather videos, which go back like 3 years. There was a deep quake near Fiji at nearly 600 kilometers depth and a 4.6 magnitude. That 6.6 occurred at 1:16 Universal Time this morning on April 3rd. And otherwise, nothing to report on. Here's another view. Let's refresh that, as we don't want any of our viewers to have seizures. Here's the sun in 94 angstroms. Again, 0 sunspots. And here's some more data. The X-ray flux, we see no significant solar flares over the past 3 days. and no spikes in the proton flux either. No coronal mass ejections have been headed Earth's way recently. Here's 3 days ago's magnetometer. And expect to see some sawtooth readings in here over the next 24 hours. Expect to see some spikes. Actually, they should look like this. Some spikes. And it's going to be caused by the Earth crossing into the South Pole current sheet. Here's a diagram of that. It's part of the National Sunspot Observatory. This data is derived from ground-based magnetometers, 51 of them here on Earth, as well as magnetometers on stereo A and stereo B at Lagrangian points 5 and 4 respectively. By tomorrow, the Earth should be in the South Pole current sheet. Maybe we'll make a video about it, maybe not. Patrons will see a video about it regardless. Here's a line-of-sight coronal hole plot showing you the sun's B field in blue. Shrinking coronal hole there in the north. You can see that green area. And some South Pole-oriented coronal hole systems as well. None of them even reaching down to the equator lately, looking pretty weak. Here is another diagram of coronal holes, a more visually pleasing one, as they're actually shrinking here. KP index currently at 1, and for you new viewers, the KP index is a measurement of global geomagnetism. Next, a real-time solar wind. Give it a moment. And there you go. It's pretty uneventful here over the past 24 hours. Current conditions are just under 5 protons per cubic centimeter for the density and the speed 366 kilometers per second. Here's a diagram, a visual representation of the space weather modeling framework. It's the pressure located in the geospace, measured in nanopascals, modeled in nanopascals, I should say. It's 4 hours of data, and you'll see it's pretty consistent magnetohydrodynamic pressure here over the past 24 hours. Over the past 4 hours, no surprise there. Here are ground magnetic perturbations, geospace delta B, otherwise known as changes in the Earth's B field. So we showed you the sun's B field, now we're showing you perturbations in the Earth's B field. This one also measured in nanotesla. And since we're currently living through a geomagnetic excursion with 2 north poles and a south pole that's left the Antarctican continent entirely thousands of miles from the geographic South Pole, that's why we show it. We are streaming live, twitch.tv/smAsho. Thanks to our new and old viewers over on YouTube. Thanks to our 400th subscriber over on BitChute. We'll have to do a special over there. And let's do a short cosmology segment. Now, we like to do cosmology segments because, well, cosmology is becoming an even more important aspect of science as time goes on. And so we cover it on the regs. Now, I'd like to direct all of you viewers to this video from Sky Scholar, Pierre Marie's Sky Scholar channel, Intercalate Zones in the Sun and Stars. Here's a little clip from the video talking about intercalate regions, the areas of trapped gas in between the lattice layers of liquid metallic hydrogen in places such as the photosphere.
They simply escape by following the channels provided by the intercalate regions. Given that the atoms can move freely within the planes of the intercalate regions, it is easy to visualize how positioning such planes orthogonal to the solar surface enables non-hydrogen atoms to be expelled from the interior.
And that is part of what's going on during a coronal hole. So check out that video, Intercalate Zones in the Sun and Stars. You should be able to find it, unlike our channel, if you do a simple search on YouTube or perhaps on Google. Were you aware that YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world after Google? Let's pick a random number generator. And our random number generator is this one, randomnumbergenerator.com. We're picking one between 1 and 1031 to find 534. 534 is a quasar known as 4C05.64. So we picked a random number. There it is, 4C05.64, a quasar. And it's a fairly consistent X-ray source here. Pretty weak. It's probably located at a great distance. Here you can see it over the past 30 days. There you can see it over the past 16 years. Let's take a look at it. It'll look like a single point of light, most likely. And we'll bring it up on Aladdin Light here. And there it is. It's Quasar 4C05.64. How about on infrared? And there it is in infrared. Possibly some odd-looking heat signatures there. Perhaps this is the jet that's not facing toward the Earth, as one jet is most certainly facing toward the Earth, as it is a quasar. Let's see if it shows up on Pan-STARRS. And there's a great view on Pan-STARRS, much higher resolution there. And how about on Chandra? We don't see it in X-ray. Let's see if it shows up on the Swift Bat Flux, and it should. There should be something there. But not really. It's a pretty weak X-ray source. So we'll bring it up on Pan-STARRS to close out this segment. It's Quasar 4C05.64. Were you aware about carbon? Well, cosmology is not understood. How the Earth formed is not understood. How stars form is not understood. Where all the carbon comes from is not understood. So here's an article on phys.org. This one is actually in the Earth section, believe it or not. As it turns out, geology and all of geophysics are part of cosmology, and when the one gets rewritten, cosmology, the other one, geology, gets rewritten as well. Perhaps check out that article, and that's today's cosmology segment. Let's get back to current data. And next we'll talk about electrons. The Earth's Van Allen belts are surrounded by them. And here's a one-year chart of the electron flux. As measured by the GOES 16, you're looking at electron density here. Literally, we're electron counters here on the channel. And here's the 3-day chart. We briefly made it into warning territory yesterday. Our patrons probably knew about that. Thanks again to our patrons. Here is the total electron content forecast model. And we're expecting flat levels of electron flux as forecasted by NOAA here in these green squares. The yellow diamonds are the observation. Here are the diagrams in miles of things like the Van Allen belts, inner and outer, as well as altitudes of things like the Solar Dynamics Observatory, which is around 22,000 miles of altitude. Here's a total electron content forecast. This will show you where GPS errors are most likely to be happening. We see a little bit of anomalies here at nighttime over places like the Middle East. No big deal there. Pretty average day when it comes to total electron content forecast. Here's another diagram. It shows you things like the troposphere where all your weather occurs, the part of the atmosphere where you live, and the part of the atmosphere where you're seeing most of your contrails form in the sky. If you live near an airport, you're seeing contrails, folks, yes. Next, looking at the ionosphere. This is a 15-minute per second animation of vibrational frequency in the ionosphere layer. This is located at about 300 kilometers. It's the F layer. And while the resolution is pretty low, it will show us significant anomalies if there are some. And there are some anomalies here, both on the nighttime side and the daytime side of the planet. And the latest image here coming through from 9:45 Universal Time. And the sun would be someplace around this area right here, folks. The sun would be just ahead of those blobs as we are early in spring right now. Let's do some meteorology stuff. Here is the jet stream scenario for the eastern world. And we see some extreme bends here off of the west coast of Australia, as well as a powerful upper level low pressure system here in the eastern portion of Australia. You see that clockwise rotation that is associated with low pressure systems in the southern hemisphere. Here are the jets of the western world. And a powerful upper level low here in the North Atlantic as well as some extremely cold air being pulled down, as you can see there, in that north to south jet stream flow. Continuing on, I just wanted to show low clouds, as low clouds are associated with cosmic ray flux. If you're not aware that cosmic rays, that is energy from even outside the solar system, can affect your weather all too directly right here on Earth. So when cosmic rays rain down, folks, they create ionization pathways. Ionization pathways create cloud nucleation regions. Clouds like to form on ionization pathways. It's the way water vapor behaves, discovered in the mid-90s by the Svensmarks. And I just figured I would show low clouds, as there are quite a lot of low clouds right now over the planet. I will advance this into tomorrow. This is the Euro forecast for low clouds, by the way. And this is based on a lot of data here. There's the forecast for where low clouds are expected to be tomorrow at noon Eastern time, at actually 1 p.m. Eastern time, 1300 hours, tomorrow on Easter Sunday. And I don't know why I have OpenStreetMap open. I did no such thing. I just wanted to cite this article here about low clouds and cosmic rays. If you want to read this, it's on sciencemag.org. Yes, low clouds and cosmic rays. As cosmic rays can change Earth's climate over periods of thousands of years. So perhaps read that if you're not aware of the relationship between cloud formation and cosmic rays. Cosmic rays can make the planet cloudy. Let's tell you what can't make the planet cloudy or sunny: carbon dioxide. Now here's an article about Antarctica. Now I'm not sure whether the writer of the article understood that Antarctica, the ice sheets there, formed about 33 million years ago when the planet was 3 degrees Celsius warmer than it is to today. They're worried about Antarctica's glaciers which they didn't even, glaciers tipping point. Okay. Now, warmth is not a positive feedback mechanism, folks. However, cold is. Cold kills people and eliminates entire civilizations from existence, and warm is mitigated by things like water vapor. But in any case, people are very worried and concerned and wasting lots of your taxpayer dollars to study why it is Antarctica's melting. Leave us a comment if you think Antarctica's melting. Here's the snow cover in the northern hemisphere. And again, I would reiterate the fact that Antarctica formed 33 to 34 million years ago. The ice sheets in Antarctica, they started to form about 33 million years ago when the Earth was 3 degrees Celsius warmer than it is today. Are you still worried about Antarctica's ice sheets melting? It's a ridiculous and silly, nonsensical idea. Something we like to expose here at the Smash News Network during this year of accountability. Since we're the least busted name in news, here are some more facts about snow cover in the northern hemisphere. And there it is. There's Noah's map. It looks kind of cold as we see almost complete snow cover every place south of 45 degrees latitude. And if you want more data about snow cover, check out Global Cryosphere Watch. There is a lot of snow still there, and the meltwaters are going to be epic once again this year. You can see the snow water equivalent well over 1 standard deviation above the 20-year range here. Snow extent actually kind of on the low side, but snow mass balance still well over 1 standard deviation above normal. Continuing on to show you a real-time lightning map. And I like to use lightningmaps.org when I hear thunder. We've got some terrestrial lightning in Texas. There's lightning in Texas. So, to the northeast of Amistad Reservoir. Oh my God. It's Devil's River State Natural Area. Here's a U.S. Doppler radar map, and things are pretty calm here, except in Texas. Almost no precipitation falling in the whole country. Here's a cloud layer, and you can see some of these low clouds that we showed you earlier. Major low clouds here, some low clouds here. And look at that interesting formation happening there. And we're going to actually zoom in on that area there, as that is some interesting cloud behavior. If you think that's chemtrails, folks, I highly recommend you seek a psychiatrist or a physics class. And here's what's going on in the water vapor. Let's zoom in on that same area. Tampa Bay is where I have centered it. And those clouds are moving in that direction because of this pressure gradient. You've got this dry mass of air right here, and then this is, in effect, a low pressure system. This is a high pressure ridge, and that's what's affecting those clouds in that area. What the heck am I doing here? All right. Fantastic view of that. And if it looks like it's backwards, I agree. And let's do bonus features. Here is the latest from El Teide, Spain, in hydrogen alpha. And it looks like there could be some clouds there. I would note some filaments up here, as well as a bunch of filaments down here around the South Solar Polar Crown region. Again, no sunspots, weak solar activity. Welcome to the Neo Renaissance. Visit our links. If you click on smAsho merch, you won't find any satanic shoes. But you'll find this, as hell was unanimously voted Dimension of the Year of 2020. If you'd like some merch, perhaps check out the long sleeve t-shirt in red. It looks great, with Kamala and No Malarkey Joe's face gracing the cover. As Kamala and No Malarkey Joe hurl the U.S. into an ever-deepening and darkening abyss of dastardly, dim-witted Democrat douchebaggery. Have you seen our forum, smashomash.com/forum? Have you seen our playlists? Have you seen the COVID Chronicles series? Have you entered our slam poetry contest? I'll bet you haven't. Thanks to our patrons. Please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/smashomash. Your likelihood of actually seeing these videos will go up if you become a patron, and your likelihood of not seeing these videos has gone up because you're not a patron. But in any case, thanks to the Smash team. Here comes some more bonus features. The high-resolution imagery of the local yellow dwarf in intensitygram to show you 0 sunspots. The most active region is down here, and it's certainly not a sunspot. At least not yet. If you're going to keep an eye on some portion of the sun, and the pun is intentional, that would be the portion to keep an eye on. Here's some more imagery of the closest star, which has now stopped playing because reasons. And thanks for tuning in, folks. Remember, stare at the sun, don't drink, attempt to understand the physics, and if you do drink, don't drive. I don't want to see you out there, and since it'll never be now again, welcome to the Neo Renaissance. May that solar wind be at your back.